I'm Alex.
I'm Ray.
And we are from the Upper Deck Podcast.
We are discussing baseball and only baseball for the entire season.
Today we're going to cover the entire American League. So that includes the AL East, AL Central, and AL West. And we're also going to cover our Cy Young, MVP, and our impact players from each of those teams.
That's our predictions.
My prediction from the New York Yankees for Cy Young Award winner is going to be Luis Severino. He finished in top 3 of Cy Young last year, and he had a sub-3 ERA. My MVP is going to be Aaron Judge, and my impact player is Giancarlo Stanton. Who are yours?
Okay, my Cy Young Award is going to be the old man, CC Sabathia. I believe he's more dedicated this year. He lost weight, and he's really stoked about playing.
And did you hear that he went vegan as well?
Yes, that's correct. That's going to help him keep his weight down and give him energy.
He wanted to try and keep that for the remainder of the season. Did you know that too?
Yes, and he should. And I'd be very interested to see if he does do that, which I hope he does.
He also had a trainer help with his knee and keep his knee going.
Correct.
Too.
That's one of his biggest problems is his knee. As you get older, your knees and all your joints kind of go by the wayside. So it's very important to keep them healthy.
Who is your MVP?
My MVP, of course, is Giancarlo. I mean, who else could it be? The man is going to be a tremendous impact player also.
How many home runs do you think Stanton's going to hit?
I believe in Yankee Stadium he is going to go over 60 home runs.
Because if you saw, he could have gone over 60 home runs last year, but he played for the Marlins. And most of those fly balls that he hit that were out are more than likely going to be home runs in Yankee Stadium and anywhere else in that division. Since they all have small ballparks.
Yes, well, Marlins Stadium is huge. The outfield is unbelievably big. And down the alleyways, it's big also. In Yankee Stadium, the short porches are going to be calling for Mr. Stanton's home runs.
What do you think John Sterling's home run call is going to be when Stanton goes yard? Is it going to be that ball landed on Stanton Island?
That's a possibility, yeah.
I think
it should be interesting to hear that call.
Okay. Yes. For the Blue Jays. My Blue Jays Cy Young Award winner is Marcus Stroman. Him and Aaron Sanchez are fierce competitors. He was mad that Sanchez had a better ERA than him last year, so he's going out something to prove. Also, he wants to prove to the Blue Jays that he deserves more money than he's getting since he lost his arbitration case. My MVP for the Blue Jays, Josh Donaldson. He is going into a contract year. He's 33 years old, so he wants to try and get a decent-sized contract from another team, and if the Blue Jays aren't doing well in that division, look for him to be a trading piece. Same with Marcus Stroman on the trade deadline this year. My impact player is Troy Tulowitzki. I think he's a great fielder, and if he can stay healthy, he's gonna meet in a Gold Glove contention at shortstop this year. Who are your predictions?
Okay, well I agree with all three of those positions. Stroman, Donaldson, and Tulowitzki. The only thing with Tulowitzki is he has to keep healthy. He has a nasty way of getting hurt all the time. If he can keep himself healthy and on the field, I believe he can be a tremendous impact player.
Okay, Baltimore Orioles. My Cy Young Award winner is going to be Dylan Bundy. He is one of their only decent starting pitcher they have, and he had a tremendous last year in like August or July last year when he had like an under 150 ERA during that span of that month. My MVP, Manny Machado, he's also going into contract year. Him along with Bryce Harper probably going to make $300+ million that next year. You're going to some team and maybe have an 8-year contract, kind of like what Eric Hosmer got this year for the Padres. My impact player is Jonathan Schoop. He hit like 35 home runs last year from the second base spot, which is not a generally power position on the field. So I think if he can repeat, that will make the O's a slight bit better than the Blue Jays. Because at the moment, my prediction for the division is going to be Yankees winning the division, Red Sox in second, winning the first wild card spot. Then the Blue Jays, O's, and Rays will follow. Who is your prediction for the O's?
All right, I concur on all of those. I'm picking the same ones. Manny Machado is going to be the MVP candidate for them. And Jonathan Schoop should be an impact player if he keeps healthy also.
Red Sox. This one's a no-brainer for the Cy Young. It's Chris Sale. The dude's a beast. He had 308 strikeouts last year, which is insane. If Corey Kluber did not have that month towards the end of the season where he was lights out, Chris Sale should have got the Cy Young. He still should have got the Cy Young. I think having 300-plus strikeouts in a year is nuts. My MVP, Mookie Betts. The dude is insane. He covers so much ground in that right field in Fenway. And that right field in Fenway is not a very easy position to play. And then my impact player is J.D. Martinez. The Red Sox were last in home runs last year. And if adding Martinez's bat, which I think he had a career year last year, I don't see him repeating, but I definitely put a potent bat in that lineup.
Okay, well, I agree with Chris Sale. If he can keep his uniform on and don't cut it up, he may do very well this year and be up there right in the Cy Young voting. For my MVP, I like Xavier Bogaerts. I know
it's
Xander Bogaerts. I'm really a National League guy, so you have to forgive me with some of these people. But anyway, Bogaerts, he's kind of overlooked on a lot of different things. But I think that he could be an MVP candidate. And I also think he could be an impact player also, if he keeps healthy and plays the way he's capable of playing.
For the Tampa Bay Rays, and just like the Marlins, they got rid of everybody. They cleaned ship. Everyone's gone. There was no one left in that team.
Well, they got Chris Archer still.
Well, yeah, Chris Archer, but like I said, with Manny Machado and Josh Donaldson, they could be trade pieces at the end of at the trade deadline for that team. I was expecting Chris Archer to be traded when they traded Jake Odorizzi, Corey Dickerson, and everyone this last month. He was one of the pieces that I thought was going to go as well. My MVP, Kevin Kiermaier, Gold Glove. Him and Kevin Pillar are probably, and Byron Buxton are probably one of the top 3 center fielders in the American League. There is nobody that plays that spot better than in the field than those 3. And then my impact player for the Rays is Denard Span. Denard Span came over with the Rays from when they traded Evan Longoria to the Giants. He is probably going to be playing left field, or he could play some right field too. But I see right field going to Malik Smith more than I see Denard playing it, because even though Denard played center field with the Giants, they have Kevin Kiermaier, and I don't think Kiermaier is going to leave center field. He has too good of a glove, and he's younger. He's more athletic than Span. Who are your predictions for the Rays?
Mine are the same: Archer, Kiermaier, and Span. I believe all 3 of them will be candidates for the Cy Young, MVP, and impact player.
Now, that's our prediction for the East. If you have anything you change or anything, leave it in the comment section below.
Right. Now, wait a minute. We have to decide, how about the order of finish in the division?
My order of finish, which I stated back I believe when we talked about the Orioles, it was the Yankees in first, Red Sox coming in second, but there'll only be 2 or 3 games behind them, because I feel like the Yankees got better. And the Yankees almost beat the Red Sox towards the end of the year last year. My third prediction is the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays just have a better starting core and bullpen and relief help than the O's and Rays do. If they can all stay healthy, I believe that they will be competing for a wild card spot. I don't know. I'm not saying they'll make a wild card spot, but I believe they will compete for one. And then the O's will probably finish in fourth because they still have Machado and Scope and Adam Jones, which they're still all-star capable players. Their starting pitching needs help, and their bullpen, other than Zach Britton, who's going to be missing more time this year because of his ligament in his hand, I believe is what he hurt while he was training in, was it Dominican? I believe it was Dominican. But and then the Rays don't really have, other than Chris Archer and maybe Kevin Kiermaier, who else do they really have? Matt Duffy, I mean, he's can't really do that much. He's not a house name player. How do you see that division?
Well, I see the Yankees for sure. But as Cashman said a couple of weeks ago, that the Red Sox are still number one because they won the division last year. So it's going to be a dogfight between the Yankees and the Red Sox all year as to who finishes first and who's going to be in the wild card. Because I see the Eastern Division, the Yankees with the Red Sox, as being the cream of the crop in the American League.
Do you think that Brian Cashman, when he said that the Red Sox, even though they won the division last year, he said that for psychological purposes, to think that the Red Sox make the Red Sox think are still in the Yankees' heads, and then the Yankees come up behind them and take it from them, or do you think he said that because it's true?
Well, I don't know, because it's true. I mean, the Yankees came in second, the Red Sox won the division, so they're the ones to beat. But the Yankees added a lot of power and a lot of stuff to their lineup this year, and I think they're going to give the Astros a run for their money too.
And do you think if we had Giancarlo Stanton last year for the playoffs, do you think we would have beaten the Astros in the
I think so.
ALDS?
Yes, we would have. Yes, definitely, because he adds another dimension. He's not only a great player, he's not only a great hitter, but he puts fear into the psyche of the pitchers going against him.
So, if you were a pitcher, whose lineup would you rather face? The Astros 1-5 or the Yankees 1-5?
Oh, the Astros, without a doubt. I mean, you have Altuve. Okay, he's a great hitter, he's a great player and everything.
Remember, he had 200 hits the past 3 or 4 years.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. He does not have the same fear characteristic as Stanton and Judge and Sanchez. That's going to make a lot of pitchers sweat out there on the mound.
Don't forget about Didi, who
broke
Derek Jeter's record for most home runs by Yankee shortstop with 25 last year.
I think he's going to make a lot of people forget about Derek Jeter in the long run. Not completely, of course, because Derek Jeter is one of the greatest guys that ever played the game.
Not in Miami though.
Yeah, right. In Miami, he's not making a good name for himself. But time will tell.
Okay, now for the AL Central. The AL Central, of course, is going to be dominated by the powerhouse of the Cleveland Indians. They are, at the moment, I believe, are the longest World Series team without a drought. And they've choked 2 years in a row in the postseason. 3-1 to the Cubs in 2016 and 2-0 to a rebuilding team called the New York Yankees last year. But my Cy Young Award prediction for the Indians is going to be Corey Kluber. He's won it, 3 times out of the last 4 years, something nuts like that. I think he's going to be a dominant pitcher again, even though he got exposed in the postseason last year. And he was good in the year before that. Don't scratch that. My MVP, Jose Ramirez again, finished third in the MVP voting last year with 56 doubles, who led the league. And he also was working on his power this offseason because he did have some power, but he's not that known as a power-hitting third baseman. He's more for speed and double type guy. My impact player is, of course, going to be Lindor. You can also make a case for Edwin Encarnacion or Michael Brantley, but if Michael Brantley becomes healthy again, then he will be able to help the team move forward and gain that extra step of power that they're lacking from their outfield positions. Who are your predictions for the Indians?
Okay, with the Indians, it's Kubler also for the Cy Young.
It's Kluber.
Kluber for the Cy Young. Like I say, I'm a National League guy. And Jason Kipnis, I believe, for MVP, if he keeps healthy and stays on the field and plays up to his potential. And then, of course, the impact player, same thing with Lindor. He's a heck of a player. He's a go-getter. He's a hustler, and he's got a good punch.
And remember, he's a switch hitter, so he can.
And he's a switch hitter too.
So
yes,
you don't have to play matchups with him.
Correct.
Which teams like to do now. Like the reason the Red Sox got rid of John Phil is because he liked doing the lefty-righty mix-up. The new manager, Alex Cora, said he's going to go out there and send the best lineup, which I completely agree with. I think all this analytics and war stuff is completely a waste of time.
Me too.
It confuses them. There's no point. Like people say, J.D. Martinez isn't a good defensive player. He's not, but he can hold his own ground. So some people say that he can't hold his own ground, that he needs to stick to DH. That's not true. I think personally, I would rather have Judge or Stanton play one of my corner outfielders because they have shown that they can make plays like that. Like Stanton, Judge robbing Lindor in Game 3 of the ALDS last year when we won 1-0 off Greg Bird's home run off Andrew Miller. Martinez hasn't showed us that. He hasn't showed us he's taken the next step in his defensive abilities. My Twins prediction for Cy Young, since Irvin Santana is going to be hurt for about 10 to 12 weeks to start the season, I am personally going to go with Jake Odorizzi. I feel like that now that he's off the Rays, new scenery, he's going to explode. He's going to become one of the more dominant pitchers in the league. My MVP is, of course, going to be Brian Dozier. Probably when Joe Mauer leaves and if Brian Dozier doesn't leave in free agency, he's probably the face of the Twins, without a doubt. If not the face of the Twins now. And my impact player is going to be Eddie Rosario or Byron Buxton. Eddie Rosario had a big year last year with hitting some home runs for them to bring them from a 103 losing team the year before to bring them to a postseason appearance. I feel like if he does what he did again, I feel like they will win the second wild card spot.
Okay, my predictions are Jose Barrios for the Cy Young. I believe that he can get it done. Joe Mauer for MVP, and Dozier for impact player if he keeps healthy and keeps himself on the field. I agree with Alex on the analytics and this overkilling of the WAR and this and that. I mean, I'm an old-time guy with baseball. We never heard of such stuff back in the old days. And, gee, everybody enjoyed it a lot better. The managers didn't have to go crazy. They didn't have to be a computer genius to figure out who's going to pitch today. I mean, just take a look at them when they're warming up and say, hey, can you throw the ball? Yeah, then good. Go out there and throw the ball. I don't believe in all this stuff that they show today. I think it makes it more confusing, and all this stuff of the righty, lefty, drives me nuts. In the playoffs, the games are taking 4 hours because they bring in a relief pitcher for every other guy. To me, that's ridiculous. If you're a pitcher, you pitch. If you're a hitter, you hit, period. And, of course, I'm not crazy about the DH.
We'll talk about
because I'm a national guy.
We'll talk about the DH coming up. Not our next podcast, because our next podcast we'll talk about the National League and our predictions for there. But on the 17th, I believe is 2 Saturdays from now, we'll be talking about getting rid of the DH, moving them 25-man rosters, etc., and changing them. But for now, we're focusing on the American League, and they have the DH.
Okay, now the Royals.
We're on the Royals. My Cy Young prediction for the Royals, Mike Minor. They don't really have any starting pitchers since Jason Vargas signed with the Mets this year, and he was probably one of their best people. Wait, not Mike Minor, sorry. Danny Duffy. My bad. But I think Danny Duffy will be a top-of-the-line starter for a team that will probably finish last in that division. They lost all their core players like Moustakas, who's still a free agent, Hosmer, and Lorenzo Cain. If my impact player is going to be Alex Gordon, if he can stay healthy, I feel like he could make them maybe pass the Tigers in that division, since the Tigers are in the rebuild too, since they traded away Martinez to the Diamondbacks last year and Upton to the Angels. If they can get more and they go on another losing season again, I feel like the Royals maybe be able to top them. But at the moment, I think it's going to be Indians, Twins, White Sox, Royals, Tigers. My MVP for the Royals is going to be Salvador Perez. The guy is a catcher who plays 162 games a year. That's something you look for in a catcher. He has a good arm, can block, and he's not that bad at hitting. Who are your players for this Royals?
Okay, my Cy Young Award candidate would be Ian Kennedy. He's been around a long time. He's a good pitcher. He's a solid guy. And if he keeps healthy again, too, I believe he could be in the running. Of course, MVP is Perez. Who else but the old man behind the plate? The guy is Superman. He was great in the World Series a couple of years ago.
In 2015.
Yes,
when he beat the Mets.
That's okay. But anyway, and my impact player is Bonifacio. He's a good player. He's a solid player, and he can hit.
How do you feel, since you're a Mets fan, coming off Mets fans, how do you feel about Duda signing with the Royals?
Well, I think that he found his place because he helped them win the World Series, the Royals, by his erratic play and not hitting, and of course that famous throw
in
from
Game
first
5.
base. Yes, from first base to home plate.
With Travis Bernard catching.
Yes, any little leaguer could have made, but that's another story.
Okay, for the White Sox. They're gonna come. They're almost complete with their rebuild process in my eyes. I feel like since the Indians are basically the only decent team in there, if the White Sox by next year or 2 years will finish with the wild card spot, because my Cy Young award prediction is maybe if they can bring up some of their prospect arms that they have down there, like Lucas Giolito, who's probably going to be one of their opening day starters. I feel like he's going to have a big year. He could maybe, I don't see him actually winning the Cy Young, but he's my most tier pitcher on the White Sox at the moment. My MVP is Jose Abreu. He's a solid first baseman for how young he is. He's going into his fourth year in the league, and he's pretty much a household name by any team. And my impact player is going to be Yoan Moncada. The guy has speed, he's a switch hitter, and he has a little pop in that bat. He's a solid defender too. So if he can stay healthy and perform at a high tier level, I feel like he's going to be a top tier player in the years to come, and maybe starting in the All-Star game. Not next year, but in the years to come.
Okay, my predictions for the White Sox are Lucas
Giolito?
Giolito for Cy Young. And Abreu. He's a good hitter, good solid player, good size. He's like a little bit like a Stanton as far as the build. And if he can keep healthy again, too, I believe he'll be pretty good.
Wait, hang on. How do you think it's a Stanton? Abreu has never had 40 more home runs in a year.
No, but he's a big guy. He's
okay.
a big guy, and he's imposing at the plate. And when he gets a little more seasoning, perhaps he will maybe not be a Giancarlo, but he can hit a lot of home runs.
But he doesn't strike that fear in the heart of pitchers. Like Stanton
I don't
does.
think the White Sox do as a whole. So, I mean, I hate to say that, but they've been rebuilding now for a couple of years
since 2005.
Yeah, so they need somebody to be able to hold the torch as an impact player.
And also they were also talking about trading Jose Abreu.
Right.
They talked about that for a couple 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
I don't think that'd be a smart move for them.
No, I don't think so either.
That would just prolong their rebuild process.
Correct. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I'm like Matt Davidson as an impact player, just because he's there.
My Tigers, the Detroit Tigers, they had a pretty rough year last year. From a team that's been hard since I've started watching baseball, been one of the teams to be in the postseason or pretty close to it, to have a completely awful season, finishing the worst record in baseball, was kind of weird to see. But they were also talking about trading Michael Fulmer to the Yankees this offseason, which they never happened, which I think would be a good move for the Yankees because they could use another starting pitcher like a Lance Lynn or Alex Cobb. But we don't have to talk about them because we already covered the Yankees. But that's my Cy Young prediction for the Tigers. My MVP prediction is Miguel Cabrera. I mean, what else can you say? 2012 or 2013 Triple Crown winner, 20-plus home runs every year, guy's a stud. And my impact player is Jose Iglesias. Solid defensive player, decent at batting, but he's mostly there for his defense. He had, if you could look up on YouTube, Jose Iglesias' highlight reel, and you just can sit there and watch that all day. It's insane.
Okay, well, I go with Fulmer for Cy Young, and of course Cabrera. Who else on that team? He's been holding up that team for a number of years.
Do you think he is the face of the Tigers?
Yes, he is, definitely. Since they got rid of Verlander, it's got to be him. So, because the two of them were the face of the Tigers. But the
What about,
Tigers.
what about Max Scherzer when he was with the Tigers?
Well, that was a long time ago.
that was 2013.
Yeah, well, that was 5 years ago, so we won't dwell on that now. He's made his bones though with the Nationals.
Yes.
But Cabrera is the perennial MVP candidate all the time. So, and then my impact player is Candelario, for want of anybody else on the team. I think he's a good, solid player, and he may do a lot good this year.
My Cy Young Award prediction for the Houston Astros. We have finished the AL Central, but wait, we forgot something. We forgot to rank
Them, yes. I was just going to bring that up. Yes.
Where would you rank the Central?
Okay, well, without a doubt, it's got to be the Indians. They're the class of the Central Division. And then
Chokeland Indians? Sorry,
right, that's true. Yeah.
I had to.
A couple years in a row now
I
they
had
choked.
I had to.
Well, I think it was a lot with mismanagement too. They used the relief pitchers too much too, and kind of burnt them out.
Wait,
So,
whoa! You're saying Terry Francona is a bad manager?
I don't think he's a great manager. He's a good manager, but he's not a great manager.
Who would you?
I don't believe that he used the pitchers that well in the playoffs and the series.
Do you think he overused his two workhorses?
Oh, definitely.
Cody Allen and Andrew Miller.
Yes, without a doubt.
You think he should have
Yes.
brought in Mike Clevenger and Josh Tomlin out of the bullpen?
Maybe try it, yeah. He's a guy that I was talking about before, about taking out the right, left, right, left, right, left. I think he's too much with the analytical stuff. If he could go by his gut and say, hey, this guy's been pitching pretty good, leave him in there.
Or-
Somebody comes in and throws strikes, why take him out?
Or if they also they look at their bat, let's just say Miguel Cabrera has a 400 average against Andrew Miller. He's of course probably gonna take him out because he's been hitting well, but you never know. Miguel Cabrera could be having a bad game and he could be bad that day.
Well, or plus Miller could be throwing all strikes, and he's striking out everybody left and right. So he goes, watches Cabrera. So even if Cabrera hits a home run, so what? That's only one run. If he keeps the other people off the bases, So I just don't go for this stuff of changing pitchers every 5 seconds, every other man up at the plate. It's just ridiculous.
Okay, who do you think who would you put in second in that division?
Okay, and that's the Twins, I believe. They have enough to be in second. I believe it's going to be a fight for last place between the Royals, White Sox, and Tigers. I think the White Sox probably are going to sneak in there for third, the Royals fourth, and the Tigers fifth.
And I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah.
But the Tigers and Royals would be a toss-up between the last place.
Correct.
Because they both have no farm system since their rebuild is relatively new.
Remember one thing, the Royals signed Lucas Duda.
True. Okay, that's our prediction for the AL Central. Any other predictions you have? Any predictions for Cy Young you change? Leave in the comments below. We'd love to hear it. And plus, we like to interact with our fans. That would be awesome. Houston Astros. My Cy Young Award winner, Dallas Keuchel. I see that look on your face. A little surprise there. You're like, what about Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole? Well, look. No, I feel like Dallas Keuchel. Because now that he has the pressure off of him, since before he was the ace, he had to go out and perform. Now that they have Verlander and Cole, the pressure's not all going to be on that left-handed arm of his. I feel like he could go out there and perform and give them 15 to 16 wins season and finish in top 5 of Cy Young voting, if not win the Cy Young voting. My MVP, Carlos Correa. You guys are all going to say, Jose Altuve, 200 hits per season. No, Correa. Going to have a big year, going in his 3rd year in the league. My prediction, he's going to hit 30 or more home runs this year. Good power stick out of that 3-hole or 4. No, he's batting 4-hole since Altuve is going to be batting 3rd most likely, like he did last year. But I think it's going to be Carlos Correa. My impact player, George Springer. No Altuve on this list. Altuve has showed that he can stay healthy, have 200 hit seasons, and be an all-star regular type player. But George Springer, coming off a monster World Series, winning World Series MVP, I feel like if he can stay healthy for the entire season, he is going to be their impact player and going to be their big name coming out of that leadoff spot.
All right, let me ask you a question here, okay? Now, do you think, really, seriously, without Altuve, that they would have won the World Series last year?
No.
No. Okay. So how can you put him not even in the MVP or the impact
But
position?
like I said, he is not going to be in there because he's already proved that he can do it. He can do
Well,
it.
so that's the part of being an MVP or
But
an impact
these
player
aren't-
to do it year after year.
These aren't players that are going to win the MVP. These are players that will win it for that team. Altuve is, of course, franchise player, without a doubt. Altuve is probably the best Astro to ever play the game.
Yeah, he's a spark plug. He keeps them all going. They all love him, and he's an inspiration to the team, which means a lot.
Yeah, I do think he should be in my MVP talk, but I think Correa's gonna have a monster year.
Well, I don't agree with that.
Coming off a thumb injury that held him back, and I think he's gonna have a monster year. And George Springer coming off an injury last year, monster World Series. I mean, Altuve definitely should be on here. I probably should have put him on here, but I feel like Springer and Correa is gonna have a big year.
Well, you are really. I don't know. Maybe it's the analytics that are getting to you.
No.
Okay, my predictions for the Astros are Verlander. What else can you say? That's enough. And then Altuve and Altuve, Altuve and Altuve. That's it for the Astros. Without him, they would never have won the World Series last year.
No, if he could, but he was their key reason he won. Because when Correa went down, when Springer went down, when Colin McHugh went down, he was the only player to stay consistent. He wasn't like Aaron Judge and missed the whole month of August.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean, the Yankees didn't win the World. They didn't get into the World Series either.
But they came a game from winning, and they were supposed to be a rebuilding team, a World Series, a playoff team 2 or 3 years from now.
Okay.
There's
another thing for another time we can discuss also about the Yankees, about the impact of Frazier on the Yankees.
Let's talk about it right now.
During the playoffs. I think he gave them another dimension that the Yankees never saw before.
The spark plug.
Yes, they never had a player like that, in my recollection. They've always been dogged, great big guys, and out there.
Because if you look since the start of the Yankee dynasty with Jeter, Pettit, Rivera, Posada,
yeah,
all of them, they were all like jumping up, climbing over the dugout,
correct,
getting nuts. I mean,
cheerleaders.
No, Jeter.
Jeter was a little bit,
but not like Frazier last year.
Right.
Frazier was going nuts. He started the thumbs down.
Right.
Everything. He started that. He loved being a Yankee. If you watched him on the White Sox and the Reds, he never did a single thing of that. Want to why? Because they're losing teams. They haven't had a winning season.
Correct.
The Reds haven't had a winning season since the Big Red Machine, which is in the 70s.
Correct.
That's a while ago.
Yep.
So
that's why he signed with the Mets too, because he didn't want to leave New York.
Yeah.
Because he lives in New Jersey.
And plus, the Yankees weren't going to go out and give him a multi-year deal because they were wanting to try and get Machado, which
correct.
Machado has said that he wants to be a Yankee.
Well, who doesn't want to be a Yankee? Almost every player in the majors would like to be a Yankee one day because they pay the most. They have the best conditions for everything.
No, don't give me any of that. The Yankees won't want the World Series.
They do every year. They did it all the time. Back in the old days, too. If they needed a pitcher, they'd offer him all kinds of money to come and play.
Would you rather tell me that if your team wasn't off trying to buy the championships, if your team was doing that, you wouldn't mind it, would you?
Oh, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that's a point of fact.
But the Yankees owners don't like keeping the money in their pocket. They like
that's
to go
correct.
Out, they like
I
going
agree
out and
with
spending
them.
it
Yeah.
to make because
they want to win.
Because they're the most.
George Steinbrenner, when he was alive, he would sell his mother if he could win a World Series. He didn't care.
They're the winningest franchise in any sports history.
That's correct, because they always had enough money to spend.
Yeah, and they're in a big market.
Right, they're in the biggest market in the world for baseball.
They're probably the biggest team in baseball.
They are. Well, winning 27 world championships kind of makes you that way, okay? And umpteen amounts of playoff appearances and so forth and so on. I mean, we can go down the whole litany of the Yankees. The Yankees are a dynasty. They've been a dynasty. Even in their bad years, they're still a dynasty.
The Yankees haven't had a losing season in 25 years. Think about that.
25
years.
That's true.
That's
unbelievable.
Every team had at least one losing season in there.
Yep.
Except for the Yankees.
Yep.
25 years of non.
Well, that's what a lot of money buys you too. That you don't lose that many games. If you need somebody, you get them.
Yeah.
Steinbrenner, when they instituted the luxury tax, okay, Steinbrenner didn't care about that. He didn't care what the luxury tax was. He spent, and spent some more. So because he likes to win.
Guys, I had an update on my phone. The Marlins have beat the New York Mets 1-0 in spring training today.
That doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything, but I'm just keeping you guys updated.
Okay. 1-0. Well, whatever. That's
the Yankees are also winning at the moment. No, they're tied. They're tied 2-2.
Who are they playing?
Against the Red Sox.
Oh, okay.
Just keeping this live.
See, that's what it's going to be all year. It's going to be like that. Okay, let's go on.
Let's go back to the West. Let's not talk about that.
Okay, we got kind of sidetracked there a little bit.
Sorry about that. Okay, Seattle Mariners, because we've already covered the Astros, and you were on with Altuve and Altuve.
Correct.
But Mariners, James Paxton, key pitcher for that team. Felix Hernandez has not had a healthy season since 2013. He has been all over the place. He played.
Who was that again? Did you know?
Felix Hernandez.
Oh, okay.
He hasn't.
My pick for the Cy Young.
Yeah, he hasn't been healthy. He played 16 games, pitched 16 games last year because he can't stay healthy. If Paxton can stay healthy and do what he did last year for that team is fighting for a wild card spot and possibly beating out the Twins. My MVP, Nelson Cruz. Guy hits tanks. Without a doubt, one of the best power hitters in all of baseball. If not the best power hitter in baseball. Whoops, I did not mean to say that. Stanton's probably the best power hitter at the moment. So
I wouldn't give that crown to Cruz right now.
Let's take that back. Let's retrack a
But
little
then again, we got to see what he's going to do in the American League.
Yeah.
Stanton,
In my impact player, D. Gordon. He is moving from second to center, which is going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can do anything good for that team, it's definitely going to give them some speed. Something the Mets are lacking.
Correct. They are lacking
most
speed,
teams are lacking speed. Speed helps you win. If you have
also slows down the game too. Did you know that?
Yes, it does slow down the game.
Because they're trying to pick them off all the time, so they make a lot of throws to first and second.
See, if D. Gordon gets a single, he's stealing third. Cano comes up, hits his blooping single. Gordon scores. That's 1-0 Mariners. Speed helps win games.
Right.
Every team needs a Trey Turner, a D. Gordon, a Billy Hamilton. Mm-hmm. Every team needs that.
Yep. I agree.
Now, who are your picks for the Mariners?
Okay, mine is Felix Hernandez. Because frankly,
injury prone.
I know, but frankly, I don't know too much about the Mariners. And Cruz. Because you don't see him much. I mean,
Sorry about that.
The only time we see him is that they play the White Sox or they play the Yankees or something. Cruz is my MVP, and D. Gordon is my impact player because...
Sorry about that.
All right. D. Gordon is an impact player because of his speed.
Los Angeles Angels. Big team, small market, one of the best players in the league. Mike Trout. MVP, easily. Their Cy Young Award winner is definitely Shohei Ohtani. Best pitcher ever. No, I'm joking about that.
They paid enough for him, yeah.
They didn't pay anything for him. He could have stayed in Japan for another year and made more money than he is right now.
Okay, well.
He's on a rookie contract, I believe.
Didn't they have to pay something to get him, though?
They had to pay... You have to pay something to get everybody.
I know, but I think you had to pay the Japanese league.
You had to pay... You didn't have to pay him that much, like $200,000.
No, it was a couple of million, I think.
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not too big on Shohei Ohtani.
Well, who cares about that?
Yeah. Anyway. But my Cy Young prediction, Garrett Richards. He's coming off an injury, and the Angels have nobody that top line starting pitcher. Tyler Skaggs, not really. Garrett Richards. I mean, those people are injury prone. I think most of them. I think with Shohei Ohtani is definitely going to help the team, but I don't see him making a playoff run this year. Even though they added Zach Kozar, Ian Kinsler, Justin Upton, even though they added them, I don't see them making a run. My impact player, you could say Trout. I'm going Ian Kinsler. If that guy can get on base, and if he shows the speed he had back in 2007 with the Texas Rangers, he's going to help that team win, without a doubt. I mean, you could have, say, Zach Kozar with his glove, Andrelton Simmons with his glove, who came up with some power last year, which he never had before when he was with the Braves. But you can always go with Mike Trout, go the easy way out, like he did with the Astros with Altuve. No. You got to go with Ian Kinsler. The guy, he's getting older, yes, but I still think if he can get on base and put some speed on that base path for them, it's going to help that team tremendously.
Well, I'm not going to agree with that. I go with
Of course you're not.
Garrett Richards. If he can stay healthy and stay on the field.
Oh, you are agreeing with me.
He's a darn good pitcher, and I believe that he could do well in that division. And of course, MVP and impact player. Who else but Mike Trout? I mean, come on. Who else can it be on the Angels? Nobody holds a candle to him.
Albert Pujols?
No. Pujols is going to be collecting his Social Security pretty soon. So I don't think so. It's Mike Trout. That's it.
Impact vet player for the Angels, Mike Trout also?
Yes.
Yeah?
Of course.
Okay. Rangers, Cy Young. This is tough, but it's going to be Cole Hamels. If he has a major year, he's going to have to be the workhorse in that team. He's going to have to stop losing streaks as the ace. Because, I mean, who else can they really depend on? Martin Perez? I mean, yeah, he seemed like he was decent last year, but I don't see him making that next step forward to be that ace. My MVP, Joey Gallo. Guy hit 43 bombs last year. 43. I know that may not seem like it's a lot, but in this day and age, that seems like kids play.
Well, with the tight ball they had, everybody was hitting home runs last year.
And my impact player, Adrian Beltre. I mean, 3,000 hits last year, Hall of Famer easily, funny comedian type player on the field, great type kid. He's my MVP. I mean, my impact player. Sorry.
Okay, mine are Cole Hamels. He's a very good pitcher, and if he stays healthy, like I say with everybody, he should be an impact player up there with for the Cy Young Award. And of course, I like Odor, and he's a spark plug. He's a tough guy. He plays the position well, and he's not a bad hitter. And I believe that for that team, he's a good MVP candidate. And I believe Adrian Beltre for the impact player, because he can hit him, and he can hit him.
Oakland Athletics. This is a hard choice for the Cy Young Award winner.
Because
they didn't really have they don't have any household names. If you ask any A's fan, they'll know these names. But if you ask like Marlins fans or Red Sox fans
or Met fans,
they don't know them. They don't know who Kendall Graveman is. But that being said, he's my Cy Young prediction. He's the ace of that staff. He's that innings eater. He's coming off an injury. I think he's going to have a big season this year for that.
Well, there is one guy on the A's that everybody knows. That's Chris Davis.
And they also know Matt Olson. That guy hit like, what, 25 home runs last year? Like, what?
Well, how many did Davis hit?
Davis hit 43?
45?
Something like something.
Well, he's pretty well known.
He's another household name,
yeah.
But he's about their only one. I mean, Matt Olson can make a case because he played in, 57 games, hit 25 bombs last year? That's pretty good. But my Cy Young prediction, Kendall Graveman. My MVP, Chris Davis. My impact player, Matt Olson. There's nothing else to say.
Okay, I have Grayson.
Graveman?
Graveman. What's his name? Graveman?
Kendall Graveman.
Okay, Graveman. Okay, yes, that's who I have. And I have Chris Davis, MVP, and Chris Davis for impact player. On the A's, who else could it be? And he's the only thing that keep the A's going. All right, that's our wrap up for the American League divisions. Now, our predictions for the playoffs for the American League.
Our predictions for the playoffs for the American League. Best record in the American League going to the Astros. They're going to probably win close to 100 games. Indians going to win the division. I don't think they have the best record, but Astros are probably going to have the best, if not the best, second to best record in all of baseball next year. without a doubt, the Indians was probably in the easiest division to win. They have 3 teams rebuilding. Most divisions have 2, maybe 3. No, 1 or 2 teams. But the Indians have 3. The Twins do not make a very strong case for me to win that wild card spot, but I think they're going to win. If it's not the Twins, I believe it's probably going to be the Angels or Mariners. And in the West, probably the hardest division in the league right now, I'm going to have to go with Yankees. I mean,
You said the West. You mean the East.
I mean the East, sorry. But I believe the East is going to be the hardest division in all of baseball. All of baseball, without a doubt. Maybe you can make a case for the NL Central, which we'll cover next week on Saturday.
Right.
But I think the East in the American League is the hardest. You got the Yankees. You got Yankees with the good hitters, Red Sox with the good pitching they have. I mean, there's nothing else to say. But if the Yankees don't win the division, they're in my wild card. It's either they're going to be the Yankees winning it and they're in the wild card, or the Red Sox win it and the Yankees are in the wild card. There's no other way around it. Who are your posting?
Well, I agree with you on all of those picks. The only thing I can say about the Astros is they play in one of the worst divisions in baseball. That's why they can gather in quite a few wins in their own division. I mean, the Angels are the only one that can maybe give them a little.
What about the Mariners?
Mariners, no. Mariners, no. A's, no. Rangers, no. The Astros are above a class above all of those teams. That's why they'll have a tremendous record this year. In the Central, it's got to be the Indians. There's nobody else. They have the best pitching. They got the best relief pitching. They have good hitting, and I can't see anybody else coming out of the Central Division. In the Eastern Division, it's going to be between the Yankees and the Red Sox. It's either going to be the Yankees winning the division, the Red Sox the wild card, or vice versa. That's no question as far as I'm concerned. The other wild card would be who?
That's yours. I already said my prediction. You got to say who your next wild card prediction is.
Well, the wild card, the other one I could say might be the Twins.
I have one question about your West prediction. Why don't you think the Mariners are a top-tier team yet? They have Paxton if he can stay healthy. They have Edwin Diaz as their closer. They have Kyle Seager. They have Gene Segura. They have
Okay, it remains
D.
to be seen. We'll see how they play, even with D. Gordon and Cruz. That's a possibility, okay? If it's not the Twins, perhaps it could be the Mariners. But the rest of the division is not that good.
I mean, the Angels made strong moves this offseason.
Well,
they just need better pitching core.
Well, everybody needs that usually, so.
Except for the Mets.
If the Mets stay healthy, yeah.
We'll talk about them next week.
That's right.
And if everybody would like to do me a favor, and this is our website for this, it's www.mlbbaseballblog.com, all one word. If you want to read our blog posts, you click on updates in the top corner. Thank you, and this is Alex
and Ray
signing off from the Upper Deck Podcast.
Enjoy.